What's up, traders? Today is the weekend, and we're going to the recap over here. A lot of activity has happened, and we had New Year's going on, and I also, we had a cold front coming through. So we're kind of like going through the weather, going through my gym, going through a crazy market. So getting a bunch of subscribers that are coming in that are new. They're giving me their ideas and try to fight a lot of things at once. Couple of things to remember this week is like not to be fixed on any bias, not to be fixed on any bias when you're buying and when you're shorting. So always being flexible. You gotta be like a bamboo, never really fixed on if this stock's gonna go up or is this stock gonna go down. This because this market will chew you up in the volatility. What I ended up finding out is that we had a really strong Monday, then a really weak Tuesday, then a really strong Thursday, and then a really weak Monday, a really weak Friday. So we're kind of like between a strong day and a weekday, a strong day and a weekday. So now Monday's coming around, and I'm gonna show you like the stocks that I chose to trade. Most of them, were strong the Monday, weak Tuesday, strong Thursday, weak Friday. So that was kind of like the trend that we're going on here. And gonna go through all my days. Obviously, on the 31st, they were really weak, and obviously on the 3rd, they were really choppy. But I ended up pulling pretty good gains on these days. I mean, I'm gonna go over my trades. Starting on the 30th, you can see that I do have losses. Like on the 30th, I didn't really know what to expect because on Friday we had immense sell-offs and it was very weak the week before, so I was very cautious to trade. And soon enough, we had Watt here on the 30th. I was buying this one at around 140, and my best fill was exit at $2. So this was what I was buying this downtrend break and coupled, this is a downtrend break coupled with an opening range breakout and a VWAP reclaim. So I was buying it at 140, end up selling at $2. That was the best trade of the day. And then this damn thing came up to 280 in the middle of the day. So it was really, really, really strong. How how this thing performed. But most of my fills were at 140, and then as it went higher and higher, I actually locked it in. That was what you had INTZ. I was long around 420, and then in the open here, I saw this candle dip where my stop loss was, and I ended up taking my stop. And next thing you know, the thing spiked from I don't know $4 up to 7, so I ended up not chasing it anymore. That was INTZ. I traded both tickers correctly. Sadly, I got stopped out. So right now we're going to talk about Hollow. Hollow was day 2 and it was on a Monday. I thought most day two usually sell off. So as this stock was failing to hold VWAP, I started a short here and then I covered and I initially lost and I actually started a second short over here and I lost on that one too. So it's important to understand not to be biased because Hollow ended up squeezing all day. So I'm glad I took my loss on it, which was over here. And then the next ticker was it was Watt, INTZ, and then you had NXU. I don't know if I was streaming this day or not. This was the 12/30th, 24, and this stock was breaking, I think I tried it a couple times and it was breaking 120. This thing was selling off to like $1. And then next thing you know, we just held around VWAP and we had an uptrending wedge pattern formation right about here if you were going to draw this area. I'm not sure if you can see that. Let me just show you real quick. It's very basic uptrending wedge pattern formation. So technically I should have bought it as we broke this wedge here. And sadly I didn't buy that one. Soon enough, it actually went to the freaking moon after that to $2. I ended up getting chopped out over here. So far, pretty good on Monday. The only thing I didn't do, my hollow short was not that great, but most of the tickers that I did trade that Monday were pretty accurate, because most of them had substantial gains. Moving on to Tuesday. Tuesday was pretty crappy. I saw ITP here at around 80. I saw how ITP was breaking pre-market highs. I loaded the dip. 75 to 120. I really liked ITP. ITP ended up being the big green on the day. and this is when things become a little bit harder. You had FLYE. Here you have a bull flag, and then I sold it. I actually knew this was gonna fail. We have a lot of morning pops and drops, and this reminded me of pops and drops, and I didn't really want to risk more than $100. A good thing I sold it because it didn't really perform that well. The next ticker is Onco. This is another choppy ticker. Like even though I could have made money in this one because it went from a dollar to 2.10, every time I bought it, I was in the red. I bought it at like 125 and it dipped and I sold. I bought it again as we broke 145 and it dipped and I sold. And I bought it again as it broke this pre-market high of 170 and it dipped and I sold. So I bought it like 3 times and I got stopped out and I sold it. That's actually pretty so hard that I didn't make any money on Onco. Then you had MLGO and APN. MLGO, another bull flag. This was a failed setup for a long. As you can see, this is a bull flag pattern. I don't know if you guys know what a bull flag is, but I'm just gonna get you to understand what this is because most of you don't. So stock going up green, comes back down, pushes, and then holds a trend. And right here you have a bull flag. Right here, this is your buy point, and I did buy it at around, I don't know, was it? This is a good example of a bull flag. Let me see if I can get the thickness all of the way. So an up, a down, an up, a down, and a breakout. So I bought around here on the bull flag, and it ended up getting stalled out. We hit a high of from 650. We hit a high of 780, was it? What was it? 750. I was buying it at like 680, and we hit a high of 750. It ended up double topping. I thought it was going to perform a little better, but it's just a failed bull flag that didn't perform that well. Definitely could have made more money on MLGO and not taken a loss. I was pretty confident it will go, but actually the place where I sold it was right in this VWAP rejection right about here. So it's important to take your profits. It should have went right here on this candle here, like one green candle, two green candle, and then it should have broke 780, but it was just getting stuffed and it was just not going. That's kind of like, what I traded on Tuesday. You have APM here, another choppy ticker. This is where things get a little bit more difficult. You have APM. This is a textbook downtrend break. This is a very good example of a downtrend break. You have a resistance here, and then you have a pop, and then the 5 things that were going for MLGO to buy it here. So first off, you had a stock that moved huge in the pre-market. Then we come with hold VWAP, and it also coincided with 5. So $5 round number, VWAP, and a downtrend break. That gives me pretty conviction to buy. And then I was buying it at 5. We spike up to 580 and it dumps right after, which was disappointing. This stock was very choppy. It ended up hitting $7.50 on the New Year's Day and ended up selling off. I should have been a little bit more of a short bias, but I didn't know what to expect because it was last day of the year. Now moving on to the first day of the year. Let's see if we can find that first day of the year. Oh, the second. This is the second. So this is the second. Market was closed on January 1st. We had CTCX. CTCX was the main runner here. Bought it as we broke this high here. Small size at 50 cents, around 10,000 shares. Ended up making huge bank up to 75. I sold 3/4. And then I rebought some more when we broke 75. I ended up selling it all in the 95 range or 90 cents. And then I tried it 2 times and then we got stuffed. I thought we're gonna break higher over this 120. I didn't know really what to expect the first day of the year. I thought we are just gonna pile into one of them. That was not the case, and it ended up crashing. And good thing I sold it, and it was the greatest trade of the first day of the year. Then we had REVB over here. We had a pre-market breakout right here of 105. That's the daily breakout. Ended up pushing into 105, coming back to VWAP, holding the support area. So pretty. Let me see if I can draw this out for you so you can understand what the heck was going on. So you have, a stock going up here, popping, coming back, hitting right over here, hitting the daily resistance 105, coming and dipping, and then I bought as it made a new high. Ended up making a profit from 110 to 130. Actually, I had a couple of guys make some money, couple some pre-market crazy traders decided to trade Rev, and they were buying it around $1 and made a huge profit in just a small amount of time, especially on the 7 a.m. push. Remember, this was the first day of the year, so I decided to wake up early at 7 a.m. And sadly, I thought REVB is going to be a big mover. We're going to break 120, shoot for 2, 3 or something. So I ended up, buying it a couple times here, and then it immediately rejected. So I ended up not trading it at all. A lot of people thought it was going to do $2, $3, but sadly, the money was not there. The money was not in SPGC, and the money was not in GLBS here. It was not that strong for the first day of the it was not that strong for the first day of the year. I was expecting something much better than CTCX. CTCX was the lead gainer that day. And then you had most of them just, as you can see, most of them just selling off. So it wasn't like the strongest first day of the year, but it was not, it was not no volatility. There was some volatility, but it wasn't like the first day of the year crazy as volatility. So you can see like the market is a little bit slowing down, but that doesn't mean it's not gonna be popping next week. We had CTCX, REVB, XPON that was actually that this ticker was just rejected and died. And GPTS. This was a day two continuation that I could have bought, that I could have made a little bit more money in. Going on to, and we had, and going on to Friday. Friday was a little bit difficult. I traded like 3 tickers. I was trying to trade FCUV because I looked at the daily over here and I was like, it has a 50, 55, 60. So if we break through all those levels, $1 and higher can go. So I definitely said that this has a very sexy chart. As soon as I saw this pre-market price action of breaking all these resistance points, I tried to get some on a dip. Sadly, we came back to 40, and I already reached like 2 losses on it, and I ended up watching it all day as it hit 1.75 and now in the aftermarket it hit a buck 50. So I actually took a loss on FCUV. You can see my loss. It was one of the biggest losses that I taken this week because I really like I really like the daily. Sadly, the way it traded, since it had a 32 milli float, stopped me out like 3 times, and I was pretty heavy on it. And next thing you know, it came up to $1.50. The next ticker was HCPX. I didn't trade this ticker, but you can look at, how these downtrend breaks not only work, not all the time work. Like sometimes a stock breaks the downtrend and it gets shut down right away. So we got to be mindful about that, not to get caught in one of those things. The stocks that I did trade, you can see I traded FCUV and I also traded CYCC. I initially thought we're going to break this 70, and I actually chased some at 72. We hit a high of 80. I thought we are going to go much higher, and then I ended up selling it for 72. I did not buy the 80 break because that was a pre-market high breakout. And even though it went to 89 for a brief second, and after that we hold it down to 65. So I'm glad I avoided all this chop. Especially this chop was just not that rewarding. On the third, I traded FCUV, CYCC, and the really good stock that I did make money on was this one, Naito. Naito was a Friday day two continuation. Most of the time, a stock that gaps up the second day usually holds VWAP or doesn't hold VWAP or crashes below VWAP. In this case, I was waiting for the stock to crash below VWAP and give me an entry in a $2 short. That didn't happen. It actually ended up holding VWAP and making a pre-market high. And this pattern it's pretty simple. This pattern you don't really see that often, especially on day two. What happened here is very, very simple. You have a stock that doesn't want to break down. It finally breaks the pre-market high over here, and then it comes back and it tests pre-market high, and then we run up to infinity. That's kind of like, this is a very simple pattern. just basic technical analysis. It just doesn't want to break 250. Finally does, then it holds, and we shoot from 250. Actually, this doesn't really work on day two that well, but in this situation, we had a massive short squeeze in Naito, and all the other ones were just not that strong. You can see that SCPX was just breaking the downtrend and just shooting up. FCUV was a great daily, but it took all day to hit like 150. And you had CYCC, that's just a huge rejection out of the gate, even though I did make some. I actually took this one at flat, so I avoided a lot of uncertainties, a lot of chop on Friday. But we definitely have volatility, but we don't have a lot of volatility. Maybe next week, the beginning of the week is usually the strongest, and maybe we're gonna see some crazy activity in Naito, and I mean, so we're kind of like in a market like Monday's really hot, Tuesday's slow, one day's really hot, Thursday, and then Friday slow. So we're not really in a hot market. We're in like a warm to getting warmer market. We were very hot a week before, but as you get into the new market, new year, things continue and things change. But I'm very happy I managed my risk correctly. You had a good day when you traded well, and you had a good day when you respected um, your max loss per day. Actually, I went outside and it got a little chilly, and I'm not really a person that enjoys chilly areas, but hopefully I'll recuperate the next couple days, and that's about it. That's kind of like the market we're in. Make sure you join me, Monday through Friday in my live stream, my private live streams. Talk about these small cap stocks. Because if you get stuck in some of these halt downs like CYCC over here and you don't know what you're doing, um, you're just gonna pretty much have a really big red day. Like SCPX, you buy the downtrend and you get smashed. These are very aggressive. Right here, you buy the 80 break in CYCC stock with news, and we got smashed. So you have to really, cherry pick your ideas, and you really have to understand like when it's time to buy, when it's time to sell, when it's time to do nothing, and when it's time to take your max loss per day and move on. A lot of people have not experienced cold, hot, no market, and time to do nothing market. All these things are part of the game. Even winning, even losing, even doing nothing. Doing nothing is better than having a loss per day. And having your max loss per day is always better than blowing up your account. So those are like my rules that I have set up for you guys. Make sure you join me in my private Discord and live stream. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, and good luck out there in the next week. I certainly enjoyed the day trading for this week. Could have definitely made some money in the tickers. Could have definitely went short on some of the tickers, but due to my energy bank, I'm a much more a marathon runner, so trading for 3 hours, 3.5 hours each day, considering I have to be very accurate, and I trade five tickers a day on average. I don't really have the bandwidth to trade more than that, and it's very hard to trade all day and be very focused. So focusing on, 3 to 5 tickers a day, maybe one or two tickers now since it's slower, and understanding that this is more of a marathon, and if you're able to do that on a long term, good luck to you. But if you're able to do that all the time, good luck to you. But I'm telling you, on the long term, it's just not going to be sustainable. So taking it as it goes, and enjoying each of the movers, and not rushing in any situation too fast, in case you might lose your whole account into one of these stocks that you really have a high conviction on. So you don't really want to be biased, whether long or short, because these things can flip on you on a dime. So trust the numbers, trust the price action, and always be ready to walk. in case it goes against you. That's all I had to say. See you all in my next video, and check you guys later. And peace out.